update domain in for availability sets, and today we're going to look at fault domain. And just to recap on update domain, so update domain, as the name suggests, it's basically to do with updating the VMs. And the thing is, with update domains, we have different groups or different sets of VMs, and each group has a different schedule in terms of when to restart or reboot, and the intervals, and it takes about 30 minutes for the whole process to complete. And so at any given time there'll be one update domain that is offline because it's rebooting, or there's some system maintenance going on. So that's what we learned about update domain. And regarding fault domain, so it groups the VMs by common power source and network switch. Power source and network switch. So depending upon where your depending upon where the power source is located or the network switch, um, the VMs are grouped. So by default, an availability set will split your VMs across up to, and notice this. So it says across and up to, so it's a maximum of 3 fault domains. So and so these concepts are not only important for the fundamental exam, but it's also going to be really helpful if you remember them, while studying for the 104. So this is really important, right? So the default and availability set will split your VMs across up to 3 fault domains. Okay, so and this is by power source and network switch, looking for a common power source and network switch. So this helps protect against a physical power or networking failure by having VMs in different fault domains, thus being connected to different power and networking resources. So even if, let's say, let's say we have 3 power sources: power A, power B, power C, and we have like 4 VMs connected to each power supply or power source. And let's say power B fails, right? There's a fault at power B, and therefore power B is down. But that doesn't mean that power A and power C, fault domain A and fault domain C will go down because they are connected to different power sources. So they'll continue to run. And that's why they say this helps protect against physical power or networking failure by having VMs in different fault domains, thus being connected to different power and networking resources. Best of all, there is no additional cost for configuring an availability set. Okay, so there's no additional cost. You only pay for the VM instances you create, which is good to know, right? So it's not like you're going to spend extra money to set this up. So you only pay for the VM instances and the consumption, if you will. So so the main goal for availability sets is to make it more resilient, and make it highly available, right? That's why it's called availability, make it available. So there's a reasoning, uh, for the naming, right? So that is availability set, and then you have update domain and fault domain. Update domain is, it's you group, again, you're grouping VMs, but you're grouping based on their maintenance schedule, like when it will reboot. um, and then you're only, so we know that at any given point of time there's only one update domain that will be offline, because we are spreading it across 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes for one update domain, and it's spreading it across. For domain is, you're grouping it based on common power source and network switch, and therefore even if there's a power failure, it doesn't mean that all of the fault domains will go down, because the fault is only for one domain, right? And so that's why it becomes highly available and resilient. So, and there's no additional cost involved for configuring an availability set. So in the next video, we're going to go through some examples of when to use VMs. So until then, see you next time.